Articles can appear in newspapers, magazines, trade publications, and scholarly journals. You can find them in print or published completely online. For assignments, you are usually requested to use scholarly or peer-reviewed sources. So how can you tell if a source is scholarly? The easiest way to find scholarly articles is to use EBSCO or Gale from the library's online resources and use the peer review filter. But you can do your own analysis using the paper method. The first P is for person, the author or authors who wrote the article. In a scholarly source, these are experts in the field. You should be able to find the author's title or credentials listed along with where they are employed somewhere in the article. Audience for a scholarly source is professionals in the field. They will use discipline-specific language, which may seem discouraging as you first start studying in your field, but as you progress through your program, you will learn the vocabulary commonly used, and you will get more comfortable with this. The second P is for purpose. Why was the article written? In scholarly works, it is to share original research or techniques. Topics tend to be very specific, not broad. There won't be anecdotes or opinions, but facts and interpretation of data. Scholarly articles are not the best place to get an introduction to a topic. Books and encyclopedias are better at providing background or basic information. The E is for exterior appearance. How does it look? It'll look text-heavy with few images or pictures other than charts and tables relating to the research being discussed. No or very few advertisements. Overall, it's going to be mostly black and white with little color. The R is for references. There will always be references to other sources related to the topic in a scholarly article. If there are no in-text citations or references or bibliography, it is not a scholarly article. Scholarly articles are at least reviewed by an editor. In a peer-reviewed article, the authors submit their article for publication. The journal editor assesses the submission and either flat out rejects the article or sends it on to a panel of experts in that field for review. The panelists review the article and submit their feedback to the journal editor. The editor can, again, reject the article at that point or send the article back to the author for revision. From there, the cycle can start all over again. This makes the publishing time for peer review articles a bit long, even years, but the information contained within these articles should be very credible due to this oversight. Scholarly articles tend to have the same parts, usually indicated with headings. The abstract is a summary of the entire article. In the introduction, the authors will explain why this research is important to the field and introduce their hypothesis or thesis. Here's where you will find the research question the study will attempt to answer, or the points they will make in the article. The literature review can be considered part of the introduction or background. It summarizes the key research that has been done previously on the topic. Remember, new research is based on previous research. This section lays out that foundation by explaining what others have found out and what questions are still unanswered. The methodology section goes into how the data for the study was collected. Ask yourself who or what was being studied, also known as the sample. Was the sample large enough to draw a definitive conclusion? What was measured? What method was used? Was it a survey, observation, experiment, etc.? The findings or results section includes the statistical results. Look for tables, charts. Ask yourself if the researcher provides evidence, graphs, tables, photographs, things like that. If the author is using opinions or personal experiences as evidence instead of data, this probably isn't a scholarly source. This leads into the data analysis or discussion section, detailing how the researchers interpreted the results of their study. What did the study find? What did the authors conclude? How will this help you in your research? The discussion section may help answer that question as the researchers will go into how their study contributes to the field. This usually will also be where any limitations encountered during the research that may have affected the study, such as a small sample size, where that will be reported. In the conclusion, the authors will provide final thoughts and reiterate ideas they have described throughout the article. Sometimes authors combine discussion and conclusion sections. All scholarly sources will have references. This will be a list of every work mentioned in the literature review or cited throughout the article, which makes it a great place to look for additional resources for your research. But how do you read a scholarly paper? When you are new to a subject area, reading scholarly articles can be difficult because they are written for people who have a background in the field and are familiar with the concepts and the vocabulary. The more you read within your area, the easier reading these types of materials will be. Unlike most things you read, scholarly sources usually aren't read all the way through, not until the reader determines if the article is pertinent to their work. To determine if an article is useful, read different sections first. With your research question in mind, start with the abstract, which is the summary at the very beginning of the article. Ask yourself if this article is relevant to your topic. If not, skip it. If it seems like it may be, move on to the introduction, then skip to near the end to the discussion and conclusion. In these sections, the authors state their ideas and explain how this study contributes to the field. The introduction may be several paragraphs, but will provide background, what is already known about the topic. If you are completely confused at this point, pause and revisit other background material. This could be your textbook, but also dictionaries and encyclopedias. Then come back to the article. After you reread the introduction and conclusion, ask yourself if the article seems to be what you were expecting based on what you read in the abstract. What does the study mean, and why is it important? Does it relate to your research question? If the article still seems helpful for your research, skim the rest of the article, looking for keywords relating to your topic. Then read the article a second time. Keep in mind the first sentence of each paragraph should be the topic sentence, indicating what the paragraph will go into. As you read the paragraphs, stop at the end of each one and ask yourself what you just read. If there are words you don't understand, look them up in a subject-specific dictionary or credo. In the methodology section, ask yourself how the author did the research. Is it quantitative, based on statistics and numbers, or qualitative, using descriptions or words? Could you repeat their work? In the findings or results and data analysis sections, don't get too bogged down in the numbers. Focus on the explanations. What did the authors find out? Is it factual and unbiased? Does the author's analysis agree with the data they presented? Or is it all crap? Don't forget about evaluating what you're reading for currency, relevance, accuracy, authority, and purpose. See guides.centralpenn.edu/evaluating sources/crap test for more information on using the crap test for evaluating sources. As you get a grasp of the content, annotate the article by highlighting sections relevant to your topic. Use a different color for passages you might want to paraphrase or quote to make citing easier when writing your paper. Add a note briefly summarizing what you've read in a section and what questions occurred to you as you read. Those questions might be answered later in the article or may be something you want to address in your work. Contact the library if you have any questions regarding scholarly sources.